In the dawn of human consciousness, we ask one question: what is the meaning of existence? Or what if I told you that your reality is a lie? Free will is an illusion. There is no meaning of life. Your reality is created by your mind. And these are not my words. These are the words of the most greatest philosophers in history. And this is not a normal story, but this is a story of denial, refusal, betrayal, rejections, and the tragic deaths of the father of philosophy. And I am locking all of these knowledge in different doors, and giving you the keys to these doors. And in the last door, there's an answer of the question: what is the meaning of existence? Our journey begins in the 6th century BCE, in the ancient Greek city of Miletus, where the first philosophers emerged, marking the dawn of Western philosophy.
I am Thales, and I believe that water is the fundamental principle of the universe. Everything emerges from it and returns to it.
Thales, the first philosopher, believed that everything in the world comes from water. He thought water is the basic stuff that makes up everything. But one of his students, named Anaximander, denied his belief.
Anaximander says that everything comes from a limitless, endless stuff called the apeiron. All things come from it, and eventually return to it.
Anaximander thought everything comes from a mysterious, endless substance he called the apeiron. He believed this stuff creates everything, and that the world runs on natural laws, not just by the will of gods. In that time, he was the first in philosophy who refused the will of God. But as we live in the world of karma, you will get what you have done, and it happened to Anaximander too. One of his students, named Anaximenes, refused his beliefs.
I am Anaximenes, and I don't believe in the beliefs of Anaximander. For me, air is the essential substance, transforming into all things through processes of rarefaction and condensation.
Anaximenes thought that everything is made from air. When air is squished, it turns into things like water and rocks. When it's spread out, it becomes fire. He also believed our souls are made of air, which keeps us alive. He imagined the earth is flat, floating on air, with stars and planets that are also made from air. In the same century, the Pythagoreans, led by Pythagoras, viewed numbers as the essence of all things.
The universe is made of numbers. The harmony of the cosmos can be expressed through mathematical relationships.
The universe is built on numbers. This quote of Pythagoras said everything about Pythagoras, because this quote dedicates his life, that he was the one who created the famous Pythagoras theorem, and he thinks the world is like a mathematical puzzle. If it is solved, we can change everything. But with these types of thought, he influenced many philosophers, including famous philosopher Plato. In the 5th century, something happened, and it was the rise of Eleatic school that teaches us the nature of being is the illusion of change.
Change is an illusion. Being is unchanging, eternal and one. Only through reason can we grasp the truth.
Imagine a fast runner and a slow one. If the slow one gets a head start, the fast runner can never catch up. Every time the fast runner reaches where the slow one was, the slow one has moved a little further ahead. So, the fast runner will always be chasing, but never actually catching the slow one. And this shows that motion and change don't really work as we think they do. But remember that the goal of life is to living in agreement of nature.
Eleatic philosophy says everything is one thing. That doesn't change. Change and many things are just illusions. Parmenides thought that reality is unchanging, and Zeno made tricky arguments to show that movement and change don't really happen. The Sophists were traveling teachers in ancient Greece. During the 5th century BCE, they questioned what people knew and what was right or wrong.
Man is the measure of all things. Truth is subjective, varying from one person to another.
Nothing exists, even if it did. It couldn't be known, and if known, it couldn't be communicated.
Gorgias thought that trying to understand and communicate reality is tricky because our words and thoughts often don't match the real world. On the other hand, Protagoras believed that everyone's views are valid and that truth depends on individual perception. He gives example that a person who is slave and a person who is king, that both views and perception are different to see this world. And also he wasn't sure if gods existed and thought we couldn't know for sure. But they both believed that truth and reality can be different for each person. Socrates, Plato, and the Academy, 5th and 4th century BCE. Socrates, a cornerstone of Western philosophy, left no writings, yet their influence was immense. His student Plato captured his teachings in the 5th and 4th centuries BCE.
The unexamined life is not worth living through dialogue. We seek definitions and understanding.
The greatest thing a soul can do is seek the truth. For only in truth can we understand the nature of the world and the purpose of our existence. Beyond the shadows and illusions of this life, there is a reality that is eternal, unchanging, and profound. It is the light of truth that guides us. And to find it, we must rise above the world of appearances, transcend the darkness, and behold the good itself, the source of all that is just beautiful and true.
Socrates and Plato were very famous Greek philosophers who wanted to understand truth and how to live the greatest life possible. Socrates believed in asking questions to know everything and do the right thing. His student Plato, who got influenced by Pythagoras, became one of the most influential philosophers in the history of philosophy. Because his teacher was Socrates and he gave his teaching to Aristotle, that makes him the most influential philosopher. His most famous quote is, "Reality is created by mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind." He believed our world is just a copy, and there is a world where everything is right, great, and perfect. He also believed that people who understand these deeper truths should rule the world. But Plato teacher's Socrates' death was a tragic stamp on all of the philosophical history. Because in 399 BCE, Socrates faced a death sentence in Athens, accused of corrupting youth and defying the gods. Refusing to flee, he chose to meet his fate head-on. As his friends and disciples looked on in despair, Socrates calmly raised the cup of hemlock to his lips, knowing it would end his life. With a final, unwavering resolve, he drank the poison, his mind clear and his convictions unshaken. Slowly, the venom coursed through his veins, numbing his body, until the man who had questioned everything was silenced forever, leaving behind a legacy that would echo through the ages. And Socrates' last words were,
Credo, we owe a cock to Asclepius.
He said this to his friend Credo, just before his death, referring to the Greek god of healing. Aristotle, a student of Plato, started a school called the Lyceum in the 4th century BCE. There, he taught and developed many ideas about the world and how things works.
I reject Plato's forms. The essence of things lies in their physical existence and can be understood through observation and logic.
Aristotle rejected Plato's thinking of forms. The main reason behind this is that Aristotle's philosophy was about understanding the world by observing it and using reason. He thought carefully about things like nature, how people should live, and how society should be organized. He believed in finding a balanced and thoughtful approach to life, and not to become perfect, like what Plato thinks. In the 3rd century BC, ancient Greece was a melting pot of ideas, where new philosophies began to take shape, each with the promise to change how people lived and thought. As the world around them changed, these thinkers offered various paths to peace, purpose, and happiness. Some spoke of mastering the self, others whispered of pleasure and simplicity. A few dared to question everything. In a time of uncertainty, these ideas sparked a quiet revolution, tempting people to rethink what it meant to truly live.
Virtue is the only good. We must live in accordance with nature and accept fate with equanimity.
Man conquers the world by conquering himself. A quote by Zeno of Citium. Zeno of Citium and Zeno of Elaea both are different persons. You might get confused. Zeno of Citium was the one who founded Stoicism. Stoicism is about staying calm and strong. No matter what happens, it teaches that you should focus on what you can control and not worry about things you can't change. It's about finding peace within yourself and living a good life by being wise and fair.
The purpose of life is to attain pleasure and avoid pain. However, the highest pleasure comes from thinking deeply and being free from worries.
Epicureanism is a philosophy that teaches the best way to live is to seek pleasure and avoid pain. It emphasizes enjoying simple pleasures like friendship and knowledge and living a calm, thoughtful life. It also believes that there's nothing to fear in death, as it's just the end of our experience.
We can achieve peace by suspending judgment. Certainty is impossible, so we should refrain from making absolute claims.
Hero of Aeolus is considered the founder of skepticism. He taught that we should question everything, and not be too sure about anything, which helps us stay calm and peaceful. Skepticism is the idea of questioning or doubting things instead of just believing them right away. Skeptics like to see proof for good reasons before they accept something as true. For example, they are judges, like in a courtroom.
Faith and reason are not opposed. Through natural reason, we can know truths about God and the world.
With the rise of Christianity, philosophy and religion came together. This blend of thinking, called scholasticism, this belief was used by scholars to explore and explain religious beliefs by using logical reasoning from the 5th to the 10th century.
Human beings have the capacity for reason and moral choice. Education can lead to a better and more just society.
During the Renaissance period, the period when many great artists like Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, and many more proved that humans can achieve anything they want with their knowledge and their unimaginable abilities. But many of the knowledge came from ancient Greece and Rome, and this led to humanism, which values human experiences and achievements.
Cogito ergo sum. Through doubt, we arrive at certain knowledge of the self and the world.
The mind is a blank space. Knowledge comes from experience.
In the 17th and 18th centuries, philosophers were divided into two groups, rationalists and empiricists. Rationalists, René Descartes, thought we have some ideas and knowledge from birth and rely on reason to understand the world. Empiricists like John Locke believe that we learn everything through our senses and experiences. John Locke's most inspiring quote is, "Who lie for you will lie against you." The Enlightenment of the 19th century. They championed reason, individualism, and scientific inquiry, challenging traditional authorities.
Man is born free, but everywhere he is in chains, society must reflect the general will.
We must cultivate our garden with reason and tolerance, because they are the keys to a just society.
The Enlightenment itself isn't a single philosophy, but a broad intellectual movement. It included many different philosophical ideas, like Voltaire's philosophical idea, that with true reason we can live a grateful life in society, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau's idea, that says, we all born free, but while growing up life starts to change us with ungratefulness, struggles, traumas, uncertainty, and burdens that will make us chain with our own will, and society forget everyone true will.
History is the unfolding of an absolute spirit. Reality is a process of dialectical development.
The mind actively structures experience. We cannot know things. In themselves, only appearances.
In the late 18th and early 19th centuries, German idealism and Romanticism were two big ideas. German idealism focused on how our minds shape and what we know about the world. Romanticism, on the other hand, celebrated emotions, nature, and personal creativity. Together, they both challenged old ways of thinking and valued individual experiences and imagination, but they were together only until 19th century.
God is dead. With this proclamation, I highlight the collapse of traditional values and the rise of nihilism. In the absence of absolute truths, we must create our own meaning and values.
Nihilism. What if everything you believed, every god, every value, every goal, every purpose, every emotion, every love, was nothing but a faded illusion? What if life itself that you live has no meaning at all? The only meaning life has is death? Because we all are living, so that we can die one day, right? And this is what Friedrich Nietzsche believed, that God is dead. Friedrich Nietzsche is also considered as the most hated philosopher in the whole history of philosophy. He believed that nothing matters. There is no purpose in life. We're born with the curse of death. The life itself has no meaning, no purpose, no God, no peace, no happiness, no sadness, no anything. Because these things actually doesn't matter. As David Hume once said, we are smaller than ant in front of the importance of this universe. Nihilism has three types, but it doesn't matter. The meaning of existence is to live. Yes, the meaning of existence is to live. It is to experience the world around us, moment by moment, and to find our place within it. Aristotle, Plato, and Socrates, they all have a lot of struggles in their lives and their journey to exist, but they still live on their meanings and values. Every philosophy ends with one question: to know peace and how to live a life. Even nihilism is also peaceful. I just don't care about anything. Dance whenever you need. Sing whenever you like. Speak whatever you want. Laugh like you never laughed before. It is to live a life that you never lived before. In the end, the meaning of existence may be as simple as this: to live, to connect, to love, to grow, to discover the beauty in every moment. Perhaps it's not his grand destination, but the everyday journey that gives life its purpose. The truth is, no single answer will satisfy us all, but in searching, we might find the meaning that matters to us, and maybe that's what it means to exist.